brain drew a blank. That's not a good start. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Let's Get Kraken podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. And if you are a new viewer, I also really appreciate you coming in, clicking the video, and choosing to hang out with me just for a little bit. I'm Eden. I'm the owner of Kraken Made, where I sell handmade treasures such as progress keepers, hand-dyed yarn, and my own pattern designs. You can find me on Instagram as Crafting Kraken Made. You can also find me and my patterns on Love Crafts and Payhip. All the links to my internet addresses and projects that I talk about will be down below. So, my brain is not working quite right today, so we're gonna mosey on through it. We're gonna caffeinate. I've got an Earl Grey tea here in this really cool mug by Muggleborn Sisters. This Hogwarts, the moon, and a kraken, which is so cool. So in today's content, it's a pretty good variety. Just gonna say it's a good episode today. And I'm sorry for last episode if you watched and the wind was cutting me off and noises were everywhere. It was a mess of an episode, but hey, we got some sunshine. And today's the total opposite of that episode. The last episode was warm and I could sit outside in my nice dress. Today is cold and I'm wearing a toque in July. But I love toques. I'm Canadian. I should just throw that in there. That in Canada we call these toques. Sometimes you could call them beanies or just hats. So I'm wearing a toque today, and it is my one finished object, which I'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, total opposite. It's cold. I got a hot tea. I've got a nice fuzzy blanket on my lap. I've got my hat on, and we're just gonna have a cozy episode. I hope you are staying cool if it is hot there, and I hope you're staying cozy if you are cold. Could I take more bridges away from the main conversation? I do this so often. But anyway, today's content for this episode, it's a good variety. We have finished object, we have some works in progress, a new work in progress. I've got some new colorways that just came to the shop today, and some acquisitions. So that will be all that. And before we hop into all that, I thought I'd throw this in the front. If you enjoy this episode and you want to stick around and hang out with me and see how my projects go on, do click subscribe if you are not subscribed, and click the little bell to be notified when I do put up another podcast. And I do other videos like ASMRs, life videos. I'm going to be going through my stash, doing a video on that pretty soon. Probably the next video that'll come up, we'll see. But if you want to subscribe, please click that subscribe button. It helps me out a lot when you subscribe, when you click that like button, when you comment. It helps my podcast get out there for more people to see. And YouTube and Instagram and a lot of social media platforms are making it really hard to grow businesses at the moment. So when you subscribe and do all that stuff, it helps me get further and reach more people, and I need your help to do that, and thank you so much if you do. So after saying all that, let's get cracking. Okay, so finished object. Please excuse my slightly greasy hair. My goodness, that's okay. My hair's getting super long. I'm gonna need to get it cut pretty soon. Wait, I finished a hat, of all things. It was 2 days ago. Today's Friday. I started this on Wednesday afternoon, and I finished it Thursday night, which is insane. But yeah, we were going through, my husband and I went through my stash, and he took out all the yarn barf, which is such a huge help. That was a lot of work. It took him 3 days to get all the yarn barf fixed out, so I truly appreciate that. But anyway, I was looking at a bunch of my yarns, and I really want to start working through my stash and using stuff that's really, really old and making room for, now that I'm a yarn dyer, I want to use my yarns for projects more often. So I want to start using up my stash and making room for other projects that I'll use my own hand-dyed yarn in. And this was one of them. I have no idea what yarn this is. It's a worsted weight, 100% superwash. I'm gonna guess merino because it's super soft, but you can definitely tell it's all superwash. But it's a gorgeous mix of green and pink and a little bit of brown. And oh, I love it so much. This is the Bristlecone Hat by the Knitty Pine. So you knit it this side out, so it's just a lot of knit stitches mixed with some purling, and then you flip it inside out and it becomes this gorgeous texture. I have another one of these that I knit out of Tofino Knit Co. in her Gingerbread House colorway. That's one of my favorite hats to wear when it gets cold. And this hat was the beginning of me starting to knit gift knits for Christmas. I'm gonna knit a bunch of these as gifts, but I did this one first and it's like, well, it's so beautiful, I want it for myself. So the first gift I knit was for me, but I love it. I did use the needles called for, except for you use a smaller size for the brim, which is, I don't know how much, and then you go up to a larger size. And when I moved to the larger size, I went a little bit smaller because I didn't want it to be super meshy. So I think it worked out really well. And I did the decrease wrong, so it's a little bit of a hole in it. It's my pinky, but just pop a pom-pom on that, it'll be okay, and I'll do it the correct way next time. That was my own fault. But I did want to say about this pattern is that mine that I use is the older version. She had just recently, I think it was last winter, she redid the pattern to be in baby size to adult size, which is amazing, and it makes a great gift knit because it's super fast. Yeah. And I really enjoy it, and it's mindless. I was able to knit this while watching movies and podcasts and while I was hanging out with family, and so that worked out great. So again, I have no idea what the yarn is because I got this multiple years ago, and the ball band went missing within the week I had the yarn, so I have no idea what it is. I'm very sorry. It was beautiful. This is my favorite combo of colors, lime green and light pink. Just yes. Okay, so that's my finished object, so let's hop into works in progress. And connected to that, I'll show you, I cast on right away another Bristlecone by the Knitty Pine. And this is another yarn that has no brand name on it, unfortunately. But it's a really beautiful superwash merino blue. I'm going to guess merino with all of them because that's probably the most basic fiber used in superwash yarns. But it's really pretty and super shiny. And this will be a gift hat. Got started there. I've got my little beginning of round marker from Knitbug Bow. I will put a link into description. It's got a little flower in there encased in resin. And yeah, so that's pretty much easy. I'm using just my Knit Picks Caspian needles in 16" with short tips. Great for hat making. And this is my leftover of this hat. I'm going to be throwing it into a bag, and I think I'm going to start a mix of DK worsted scraps to do a blanket with, probably a crocheted blanket. Okay, it's the easiest first whip to just hop into. My other whips, I've got two that I've gotten pretty good progress on. I'm going to do this one first. This is the one that I recently hopped back into. Last time you saw this, it was just a tiny little toe. But I've got my second Reuel sock on the needles. So this is my own pattern. It is a fingering weight sock, and it also comes in a DK version. On my website specifically, you can get them separately or you can get them in a bundle, which is awesome. And the bundles are exclusive to krakenmade.com. But I love this sock. I'll show you the full one. So you work with the patterning in the front and just knits in the back for the foot. This is a toe-up sock, and then you knit all the way around for the leg. And it's a short row heel. So yeah, I've got it just on the needles now. I am knitting this in my own hand-dyed yarn on our Whirlpool fingering base. This is called Barbossa's Apple. It's a little bit more green. Yeah, there you go. It's a little bit more green when it's up close because it gets blown out, but it's a very beautiful lime green. Lime green is, I said this last time, is my favorite shade of green. It's one of my favorite colors. So this is glorious, and it's got little speckles of yellow in there that kind of make it look like a green apple, which is what I was going for. It's awesome. And I'm just doing this magic loop on 2.25 millimeter needles. What is that, US ones? On my Chia Goos, which are my favorite. And the Progress Keeper is mine from a movie club from the movie Chocolate from last year. And the last time I showed this Progress Keeper on here, I didn't know if I was allowed to say what it's called, because I didn't know if the word was allowed, but it is allowed. So this is a nipple of Venus chocolate, and it's very funny from the movie. If you've seen the movie Chocolate, you all know what that means. So yeah, that is the one sock I've been doing work on, and then I'll quickly show you. I got some more progress on my vanilla sock. This is just the sock that I take when I leave the house, something that I don't need to really think about very much, so I can still be aware. Like, you leave the house and you have to be aware of if you're in a restaurant or on the road or something. But anyway, this is a vanilla sock. I've got the cuff done and I've just started the leg. It's got a little Hufflepuff Progress Keeper because this yarn is Hufflepuff from Storyweaver Yarns. Here it is. I finished one last time. It wasn't meant to like self-stripe, but it is, which is amazing. It looks just like a house scarf. And there it is in the cake. It's So beautiful. I'm really loving this color. But yeah, I'm knitting this on 2.25 US ones. And knitting these cuff down. I prefer toe up, but I thought I'd give cuff down a go with these ones. Yeah, these are Hiya. And I just keep these in a bag that I made quite a while ago, but there's one available in the shop if this catches your fancy. It's a crystals and with a resin crystal on the zipper. And this was out of a thrifted dress. So those are my socks that I've gotten a little bit of progress on. I hope to have them finished soon. I might just start knitting through my vanilla socks to just get them done so I can wear them, because I really want to have them on my feet even if I don't leave the house, which is kind of breaking the rules. But if you feel like it, just knit on it. It doesn't have to be when you leave the house. I have plenty of yarn to start a fresh pair of vanilla socks. Okay, the next thing I got a good bit of progress on. I can even show you this right now without the needles. I finished the other side of my cardigan. So this is the Spring Autumn Jacket by Reuel Knit. It is a completely garter, she calls it a jacket. I'm just going to say cardigan because that's the way I'm going to use it. This is knit out of a sport weight wool, finished wool. And you can see here, this is their Instagram. Their website is completely in Finnish, so you'll have to use a little Google Translate on there. I have a link down below. This is a sport weight yarn. The pattern calls for worsted weight, but I really wanted to use this wool for this. So what I did was I went up quite a few needle sizes, and because it's 100% real wool, it's going to bloom beautifully and it's going to fill in all those gaps easily. So yeah, I finished the other side. Next up, I have the sleeves, so I just pick up stitches along here and you knit the sleeves flat. So it's just going to be kind of like just from here to here, something like that. You knit them up with some decreases and you seam that together, and then you pick up stitches for the collar, I guess you would call it, and knit that, and then I'll be done. There is a pocket option on the pattern. I'll just see if I can show you a picture, but I'm not going to put pockets on there because this is a very light drapey fabric. I don't want to put pockets on it because I don't want to be tempted to put, say, my phone into the pocket, which is very heavy because phones are heavy these days, and make it like it'll sag on one side because it's not strong enough to hold anything, and I don't want that to like misshapen it. So I'm gonna leave the pockets off so I'm not tempted to put stuff in there. So really I just have the sleeves and the collar to put on there, and I've been a little nervous to pick up stitches for the sleeves, to be honest. That's the only thing that's been holding me back. I just need to sit down and figure it out. I could probably just like, oh yes, it's gonna be so nice once you put the sleeves on there. I could just, nope, it's done. I knit myself a cape. I can just like, wonder if I can super wool. So dumb. I'm sorry, but that was I couldn't stop thinking about that. I put it on and I was like, oh yeah, there we go, I've got a cape. I look like I could be in Star Wars. My goodness. Anyway, really enjoying this knit. It's blown my mind how quick it is and how easy it is. I seem to have this idea that cardigans are a little bit more intimidating than sweaters because you have to make sure that everything will fit. With all the components that it has, it feels like it has more components than a regular sweater would. But this has been easy peasy. Like, I've had doubts about the pattern, but that's just me. Like, I didn't think that, are you sure this is big enough? Like, stick with the pattern even if you have doubts, because this designer knows what they're doing. Like, so I stuck with the measurements and the stitch counts, and it's been working out beautifully. So no worries there. So I don't know where that's gonna go for the next podcast episode. Every time I take out a whip, I like to say, oh, hopefully I get this done for the next episode, or it's finished for the next episode. I don't know how this is gonna go with this one. It will get worked on. That's the one thing. I just don't know my pace because my attentions keep getting pulled in different directions lately. Which leaves me to my last work in progress that I put full attention on. This is my Sonya Tee by Born and Raised Knits. Oop. Let's just get this. And I split sleeves. I finished the colorwork charts. And I've just started the peplum bottom. I don't have the pattern with me today. I totally forgot. I'm sorry. But I did finish the sleeves. They're very simple ribbed sleeves. And oh my goodness, I love this. This is just like, it was a lot of work, but I'm so grateful to do this project because it really helped me gain a little more skill on my colorwork knitting. I wasn't a very experienced colorwork knitter before I started this, but I knew I wanted to really get into it and get better at it, and this pushed me to get better at it, and I'm so glad it did. It's so easy to follow. It's a very rhythmic pattern, so as soon as you do a row, like you do about 2, maybe 3 repeats, you know what you're doing, and then you just blaze through the rest of the row. It's very well written out. I think there's only a couple of mistakes in the pattern, but they're very easy to realize that they're mistakes, but it's nothing that would cause you to knit the wrong size. It was just near the end she wrote down the wrong needle size to use, but it's very self-explanatory. I think it was for the sleeves that she wrote down the wrong size, but you use the same size as the collar that you cast on with, so it was easy to just be like, oh yeah, this size. But that was about it. And then, yeah, I'm just starting the peplum bottom, which should be really fast because it's just knitting, a little bit of purling, and then you just increase a little. Oh yeah. The yarns I'm using is Ruby and Roses. This was a art inspired club that I got last June 2021. And then the contrast color, or no, this is the contrast color. This is Ruby and Roses. And then the main color here is Midnight Cravings in the colorway Garnet. They're both fingering weight. This is a fingering weight pattern. She does have a DK weight version, which is really nice. And I am using the needles called for. So that is just amazing. And I have this little Ludo progress keeper as my beginning of round marker, which is a little hint to my acquisition that's coming up next. Would that be next? Yeah, I think it would be next. And I'm just keeping this in my Noble Character Crafts bag. And so, yeah. That one, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna have it done for the next episode. I will be wearing it for the next episode. That will motivate me to do that. So, exciting stuff. This is all my works in progress. I haven't touched my halibut sweater. Mainly because I threw my attention more into my Sonya Tee for the little while. And then I have been doing a bit of blanket work on my bits and bobs, and then my garter blanket that I started last Christmas. But I don't have enough progress on either to really show them. I'm gonna wait until I've gotten a good solid amount of progress to show those off here, because I've shown them 100 times. You could probably get pretty tired, but that's where my attentions have been, is blankets, the Sonya Tee, and slowly it's teetering more towards hats, because I would like to start some Christmas prep. As July finishes, you realize that we are in the second half of the year and Christmas lies at the end of this year. So that is dawning on me, and I want to be extra prepared this Christmas. I want some people to have some handmade things, because by the time I usually think about Christmas and gifts, it's too late to make anything. Which I'm sure that's something that happens to a lot of people. Okay, so we're gonna hop into an acquisition. It's been so long since I've had an acquisition. Mainly because I want to use my own stash that I have more and more. I haven't really bought yarn except to dye and sell, and that's about it. But Gingersnapthat recently got on to their own website instead of using Etsy, which is amazing. Congratulations, guys. Good for you. It's so good. And they did a Ludo themed set, which I was saying before, if you've seen a podcast before, you know that I am a huge fan of the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie in it, and of the character Ludo. There he is, and then there's a cute version of him. I mean, he's cute, but he's even cuter. It's cute little eyes. It's so awesome. So it was a set with the bag, which is what I keep my I've been putting my Bristlecone hats in here, so I can have 2 hats going at the same time. I'm only knitting one at the moment, but it came with a progress keeper, and now I have Sarah in the collection. And it came with a sock set. And here it is. Oh, it's so pretty. And this is on their Lush fingering base. It's a 2-ply, 75-25. This is Ludo Calls the Rocks. And it's beautiful main skein with this brown mini, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. It's a new design that I've been having in my brain, and I really want to use this for it. So I'm gonna hold off on this until I finish some of my sweaters, and my blankets have been on my brain the most, and I want to start finishing them so that I can have room for more projects. And yeah, so that's the set together. It makes me so happy. Like, I knew that I had to have this bag and sock set, because how could you not be a fan of this movie and not of Ludo? So that was a very quick acquisition, but yeah, I'm so happy. And Kim so wonderfully sent an extra skein. This doesn't have a ball band, but this is also on her Lush fingering. It's a beautiful pink with purples and some red speckling. I don't quite know what I want to do with this, but I do know I want to use it. It's so soft. Her bases are just so smooth and shiny. Like, you can see it just glowing. It's amazing. So thank you, Kim. I love it. She is a very skilled bag maker and yarn dyer. So that was added to the collection this week. That came yesterday, actually. No? Wednesday. This week has got all the days really mixed up. But let's move into... I just had a shop update today, and in that shop update, I restocked on our colorway Chocolate, which is a gorgeous brown. This is all on my Whirlpool DK base, which is a 2-ply non-superwash with 1-ply superwash merino. So it gets this really pretty barber pole effect. Yeah, there's a restock of Chocolate, which was a favorite in the last update. Thank you so much to everybody who bought some. I'm so excited to see what you make. So that was restocked. And then I added 2 new colorways to the shop. These are also on our Whirlpool DK base. So I'll start with this one. This is a beautiful purple. It just glows. Like when it catches light, it brightens right up. That's pretty close. It's a little dark. Here we go. That's pretty much its true color. And this is Poor Unfortunate Souls, which I love it so much. And then this is Bibble, which is named after the cute little creature in Barbie Fairytopia. If you are someone who watched the original Barbie movies as a kid, you'll know who Bibble is. I can't believe I'm that old now, but I love those movies. So this is Bibble. It's a beautiful blue. It's a very teal blue. It's actually coming up closer. This is pretty close. It's a little more tealy. Tealy? I don't know if that's a word, but it's pretty close to its true color. It's wonderful. So yeah, these 2 new colorways have come to the shop. I have put in sweater quantities available, but once someone buys a sweater quantity, if they do, there's not enough for another one. But I am throwing the sweater quantity option on Whirlpool DK only so far. That will be up this Monday, which is the 25th, I believe. Yeah, so this has been added to the shop. They're so fun, and I love how these would go together so well with other colorways. I've got a few here. Like, oh, how cute is that? This is Bibble with little cuttlefish. And then if you're a pink and purple person, that is so cool. And then, oh my gosh, Bibble and Barbossa's apple. How fun is that? See, this is like very Disney villain vibes, which I love. And then we've got Basalt, which those 2 go together so well. And those 2. Oh, that's so fun. And then, of course, even these, the blue and brown go together really well. I do have Beach Sunset would go amazing with Bibble. Purple and brown is kind of fun. I think that's a very, like, specific mixture, but I would totally use those together. so that is what came to the shop. So yeah, I think that is everything. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like the podcast and you want to stick around, please click subscribe and click that like button. I will be back with another podcast in another couple weeks, but there are other videos to keep you entertained, and I'll be throwing up another video of some kind next week. I'm not quite decided on what I want to do, but we'll just keep that a surprise for both of us. But it will be on time. Last week there wasn't any video just because I was exhausted. It was a very busy week. I had been dyeing yarn, and my grandpa's birthday happened, so we went out and we celebrated with him. And it was fun, but it was tiring. So when last Saturday came around, I was like, I can't do anything. I just need to recharge and be ready for this week. I'm still quite tired, but it's also been a little bit of a busy week with more yarn dyeing and hanging out with family. We've been having an awesome time, but socializing can be exhausting at times. That's okay. Next week I hope to have another yarn update with sock sets, so that will be very exciting. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whatever time it is there. I hope it's wonderful and full of yarny goodness, and I will see you next time. Bye!